Hello guys, so what we're going to do is continue on with our chapter 1 linear equations summary. If you can take a look at this packet on Google Classroom, I'm going to go all the way over to this week's information, which now we're going to be focusing still again on linears, but we're going to be focusing on just the graphing. So I'm on target 4. I will provide examples, and then in your document online, you're going to look for where it says video explanation, and I will link this there. So again, you want to be in Google Classroom. All right, so let's get started here. What you see below appears to be a lot of different things, but every one of them has to do with a graph. That doesn't mean I have to graph them and start counting down and over, like you typically are used to probably in this problem. What it means is I can use a various amount of equations to kind of work backwards if I need to, but if I get stuck, I can do a graph. So this one says to me, and again, remember, I'm writing equations. Normally, you guys write it in the y equals mx plus b form, but there are other formats. If we need to, we'll go there, okay? So this one says it has an x-intercept of 4, 0, and a y-intercept of 0, -3. This format here doesn't really take me where I need, because if I start substituting that in, I'm going to leave some holes because I don't have the slope. So I could use each one of these. Some people like to stack them and go right now and find my slope, which remember we call m. So that is taking the second y minus the first y, and the same order, second y minus the first y. If I work those out, that gives me -3 over -4. That gives me a positive 3/4 slope. Now I do have that m. So if I start with this equation again, I can take my m that I just found and substitute it in. And if I only had that b, I'd be good. You do have that b. That b is your y-intercept. So that's -3. We're going to drop it right in. This equation is workable as far as a linear equation for writing equations. Now, if you notice, look up here, it's in slope-intercept form. That is this form. If it said a different format, I'd be doing a little bit of rearranging. Look at number 2. All right, so again, I'm going to see if I can fit in here. I have a point, but I don't have what I need for the b, but I do have that m. So I'm going to get started. Y equals -4x plus b. I'm going to change my b to a capital B just so I don't think it's a 6 and misread my handwriting. And now I'm like, wait a minute, it's so close, but it's not close enough. If only I had that b value, I'd be good to go. Well, I can find it because I'm going to substitute in these values. I'm going to put -8 where it says, keep my slope where it is, put 5 where it says, and I'm going to work this b out. -8 equals -20 plus b. Move your 20 by addition, and then you'll get 20 minus 8. Your b is 12. So now you can take that and your start here, and you can now make it a little bit neater. So y equals -4x that you already found, and now your b is 12. You are done. You're exactly where you need. Is this the only way to do it? Absolutely not. There's other ways, but I just think that's pretty quick and straightforward. There is an equation called point slope form, and we can also do that. That's just a different way to rearrange it. I'm trying to stick to the format, which is slope-intercept form. It's very common and very easily understood. All right, let's go on to the next one. All right, so if we take a look at this one, again, we're going to focus on that y equals mx plus b and see if I have any one of those. I do not have the slope. I do not have the b. So I've got to do all that substituting again. So first, let's find our slope. Remember, you want to keep the order the same. If it helps, stack them up on top of each other. Some people just need that visual order. So we're going to do the second y minus the first y. Y values are here. And then x, second x, minus the first x. Go ahead and do that math. Remember, you always want to try to push yourself and try to drop the calculator at this point, just because of what you'll be expected to do on the math placement test. When you get past that math placement test, you can, of course, use your tools effectively, like a calculator. But right now, we're trying to get ready for our minds working in that format without a calculator. We need a b. So that means we need to take the slope that we just found and pop it into this equation. Y equals 2x plus that b. Again, the b is what's important now. Some of you might want to lock and load below and just get ready to fill that in when you're done. So y, well, look at this. If you go back here, you got two choices. You can use 3, 5, or 1, 1. It really doesn't matter which one you use. I kind of like the ones that are small. Put them in. 1 equals 2 plus b. What does b have to be? Move your 2. Or just do your common number sense. 2 plus what turns into 1. And you can see that that's negative 1. There you go. Drop it in. You are out. Finished. So it's multi-stepped, but keep in mind that unlike maybe your other classes where you did just kind of the fundamentals of this, we're pushing a little bit. So a lot of our steps are more than one step. They're, do this first, let it hold. Substitute this in, let it hold. Put these two together. Oh, now you have your answer. You have to keep in mind that there's a little bit of persistence to get through, look here now at all this we just did. It's really more than one step. We found a slope, we plugged it in. We found a slope, we plugged it in. We plugged it back in again. Same kind of order here. Just be patient, okay? All right, now we're going to go from the left brain thinking, which is logical and ordered and algebraic, to right brain thinking, which is picture, visual. So we have to do the same equation. So I'm going to lock and load what I need here and ask myself, do I have any of that there? And when I say, do I have it, that means, am I exactly sure or do I need to do some work? So let's see if I have the slope. Well, I'm going to count from some of the dots I have. I'm going to land on this middle dot. I could do any one, but I'm going to count and see if I can get from here up so many and over so many to get my slope. So it looks like I go up. Let me check my tick marks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, everything goes by 1. Up 1, 2, 3, over 1 over 2. Up 3 over 2. Up 3, right 2. So that's a positive slope of 3/2. So I'm ready to go right there. But I don't have the b, so I look for a y-intercept. And when I find it on this graph, it better be like smack dab on a crosshair. If it's not on a crosshair, I am not estimating. I'm going to have to do something else. So let's check. Oh, rats. Estimation. Don't do it. You don't have enough detail. So what you have to do is play the same game we did over here and use a point that you already know. So no, they didn't give us a point, but yes, they did. So I'd say we need to use any one of these points that we like and substitute it into here. So I'm just going to go for this guy right here. 1, 2, 3, 1 over 3 up 1. That's my point that I can substitute in for x and for y. So I'm going to go off to the side and do that. So y equals mx plus b is my starting. Y is now 1. We just found it. M was 3/2. We found it. X is now 3. We found it. And b we don't know. Get it working. So we've got 1 equals 9/2 plus b. Now you can see why that's not so pretty. You knew that was going to come out as a fraction. So let's change that 9/2 if you don't like it to 4.5 if you like that better. We're going to have to move it by subtraction. So y minus 4.5 equals b. At this point in time, I'm not sure if if Alex would give you a calculator and do that. I would say number sense tells me treat this like a normal subtraction, but realize it's going to be negative because the bigger guy is negative. So I start at 1 and I walk back 4.5. Keep that in mind. So I'm up here at 1. I'm going back 1, 2, 3, 4.5, so I'm going to be in a negative zone. So treat it like subtraction. 4.5 minus 1 is 3.5, but it's in the negative zone. If you don't like that, you could go like off to the side over here and change that back to 9/2. Change the 1 to 2/2. 2 minus 9 is 7/2, negative. 7 divided by 2 is negative 3.5. You could do that if you wanted to. So my final answer, because we're getting an equation of a line, is y equals slope x plus the new b. And we probably could do 3.5 or we could do 9/2. All of them are right. Okay, so that is target 4. Let's see if we got more on target 4. If so, let's do it. Nope. All right, I will change gears and do target 5 later.